This is the Listen Up Future Nurse podcast, and you're listening to Season 2, Episode 13, The Nursing Edge, Career Strategies for Transforming Your Passion to Practice. In this episode, we sit down with Dr. Farah Laurent, a dynamic nurse career coach, author, and inspiring speaker. Dr. Laurent shares her journey from emergency nurse to industry trailblazer, emphasizing the importance of following one's passions and setting career goals. She discusses the critical role of self-care and advocacy in nursing, providing practical strategies for new nurses to prioritize their well-being. Listeners will gain insights into the value of mentorship and effective networking as Dr. Laurent reveals how these elements can shape a successful nursing career. Join us for an empowering conversation that will inspire new nurses to take charge of their professional paths and have impactful business moves in healthcare. You're listening to an episode of Listen Up Future Nurse Podcast. Scan the QR code if you're watching, or click the link in the podcast show notes to get your virtual remote. Make sure to tune in and subscribe on Spreaker and follow us on all your favorite podcast locations. And watch us live online on all of your favorite social media sites. No login, no problem. No matter if social media isn't your thing or you're taking a break, you can listen in right on our website. Save your data and this episode by downloading it from our website, nursinginspired.com/podcast. So if you have to take a pause, you don't lose your place where you were listening or your battery power. That'll also help our podcast rankings rise to the top. This podcast is hosted by Fallon M. Flowers. Get ready to be inspired by the remarkable Dr. Farah Laurent. She's not your average nurse. She's the nurse career coach, author, and dynamic speaker who is passionate about empowering nurses to achieve their career goals and make business moves. She is the author of Nurses Making Moves, a nurse's guide to starting a business. With a background as an emergency nurse, educator, and professional development expert, Farah is a true trailblazer in the nursing industry. Farah is not just changing the nursing game, she's transforming the entire industry. Tune into her podcast and LinkedIn live show, The Nursing Dose with Farah. She was recently featured on The Jennifer Hudson Show and is a two-time LinkedIn top voice in public speaking and nursing top voice.
Hello. I can't hear you though.
Gosh.
I can hear you now.
All this time. Season 2, Lord. We still working out the kinks. That's all right. So, welcome.
Yes. Thank you,
everyone, and welcome Dr. Farah Laurent, the incredible. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fabulous. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm so excited about this conversation. And hello to all the listeners. Thank you so much.
And please tell us where you are hailing in from.
Yeah, so it's funny, actually, I just recently moved from the East Coast. Shout out to New Jersey, New York area, but now I'm a Floridian. I'm in Florida, yes, in the Tampa Bay.
Right. Mm-hmm. My God. I am so glad that you are here to tell the tale, because I just saw about those those storms and whatnot. I said, my God.
Yes, we got welcomed with 2 hurricanes. They're like, yeah, we don't typically get hurricanes in the Tampa area, but we got hit straight on 2 times, but we're okay.
My God.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Make you almost want to think 2 times about going back to Jersey.
Yeah, but it's so funny. We actually, a few months back, we had an earthquake in New Jersey where we were. Yeah, I was like, what? No. I'm telling you, just like everywhere you go, there's something, right? So you just got to pray about it. That's it.
That's true. Y'all heard it.
excited. This is going to be so much fun. This conversation.
Right. Oh my goodness, Lord. Yes, you are absolutely right. Yeah, because we don't deal with none of that in Chi-Town. I just have to throw that out there, y'all. So we got our other issues, but Anyway, moving on. So Dr. Farah Laurent, you all heard her bio. So this right here, this is about to go down. Okay, when it comes time to getting ready for your career, I do my own thing with career coaching, but she takes it to a whole nother level. So let's tune in on this. So Dr. Laurent,
yes,
tell us. Yes, go ahead.
I'm just so excited. Just go ahead. Let me just say,
So yes, so you emphasize, following your passions and goals and everything in nursing. Can you share with us a personal story about how pursuing your passion led to significant career opportunities and changes in your journey for nursing?
Absolutely. So this is a story that I tell all the time. I went to nursing school in Canada, so shout out to all the Canadians if you're listening. And it was a 4-year traditional program, and of course, the faculty was not as diverse, right? It was very not diverse, let's just say. And in my last rotation, I had a clinical instructor. I didn't like her very much. She was not the nicest. But she was like, Farah, what type of nurse do you want to be? And I said, I want to be an emergency nurse. I was like, I watch trauma life in the ER. I want to be that type of nurse. And she literally looked at me, laughed in my face, and was like, you'll never be an emergency nurse. You're too unorganized and you should go to med-surg. So for a minute, I was like, oh my goodness. I felt so small, right? I'm like, how's an educator telling me this when you're supposed to be empowering and inspiring? Oh my God. Well, of course, I was like, okay. In my head, I was like, what the hell? I was like, who is this lady right here, trying to tell me what I can't and can't do, right? What I can't.
Absolutely.
So I said, in my head, I was like, watch me, lady. I will be one of the most badass ER nurses around. And of course, that's what I did. I made sure to pick the emergency department as one of my top choices. They gave us 3 choices in our last rotation. So thankfully, me and another girl got to go into the ER out of 110 students. So when I got there, I was like, this is my chance. This is my chance to network, to really make some good relationships and work hard, right? Mm-hmm. I was there for 5-6 weeks, killed it. I was loving it. And then made some really good relationships. And one of the nurses, his name's Doug, he used to laugh all the time and joke around. He's like, hey, you should apply. He's like, I'll put in a good word for you in HR. And I thought he was joking. But he's like, no, seriously, apply. Because, at that time, they had no residency programs. They typically didn't hire new grads into the emergency department. And it was a trauma hospital for the city. So, of course, I applied. And I was a nursing student at that time. I didn't even pass my boards yet. I didn't even graduate, and I got hired. So I wanted to go back to be like, what did you say? And not only did I get one offer, I got 2 ER offers as a student. And I'm so happy that I didn't listen to her and that I pursued my goal, because it really changed the trajectory of my nursing career.
Wow. That's quite a story that you just shared. Man, there's so many. Y'all see at the bottom of the screen, pills of wisdom for those that's watching. Pills of wisdom that she just dropped. We don't do pearls of wisdom here because we're in healthcare. So first off, you were in school. Mm-hmm. You had an instructor, like you said, supposed to be encouraging, but instead, discouraging. Yeah. The interesting thing is that, like you said, at that time, there wasn't nurse residency programs and a lot of stuff, happening at that time. And also, actually, there's not a lot of nursing programs that have that type of last clinical, like you did. Some, may call it an immersion or different, there's different names for it. But students, if you all are listening, well, yeah, of course you're listening. Keep in mind, while you're looking at the nursing programs that you're looking to select, see if this is an opportunity that they give, because some schools just have, hey, you just get med surg, mother, baby, psych, gero, leadership, and that's it.
Right.
You may not have that opportunity to say, hey, I know I want to be an emergency nurse like Dr. Farah did here, and then pick that as a rotation and then get to actually go and pursue that, because you were able to, stand up and stand out. You went in there and you thought that nurse was joking, and baby, he was not. Thank the Lord. See, that's what happens. See, I just got to say, look at God for a minute. See, because when you when you speak against his children, he gonna show you. So you said in your mind, I'm gonna show her. 1, 2, the path was opened up because you were 2 out of hundreds of students that were able to do that rotation, and then 3, you went there, you showed yourself out, and then you had somebody to intercede for you. Sorry, y'all. I know this ain't Sunday.
I'm telling you,
I'm just saying. Right?
Because honestly, there's 2 types of people, right? And I was on a podcast recently, and there's 2 types of people. The type of people that I'd be like, okay, all right, then I guess I won't be an emergency nurse. And then there's the type that would be like, screw that, like, watch me, right? And that's the type of attitude you have to have, not only in nursing, but in life. Because there's going to be so many people that are going to tell you, no, you can't do this. Naysayers everywhere. But the only person that needs to believe is you. Yes. As long as you believe in your abilities, and as long as you're able to do the work and take action, things will happen for you. And you have to make it happen. You can't just sit back and wish it, right? And this is the thing, like, I was watching Deion Sanders recently. I love him. And he was like, I don't have time to worry about what people think because it's nonsense. He's like, because I'm on assignment, right? He's like, when God orders your steps, when you're in alignment with your purpose and your values and your direction, nobody can stop you, right? So like no one's going to stop you from doing what it is that you want to do. And sometimes it takes a matter of time. And that brings me to like the next thing, which I'm sure we'll get into. I told myself that moment that I want to be a nursing instructor one day, and I want to go into education to change this type of narrative and to really be inspiring to nursing students, to make it fun for them, because education, I believe, should be fun, because old school thinking of like nursing is like so rigid. But you could still learn and make it fun, right? So that's what that's what I really wanted to do. And I was able to accomplish that later in my career. I became an adjunct faculty for NYU School of Nursing and an educator. So for NYU as well. It took me some time, but I made it. It took me 2 years. And again, a lot of resistance with, drama in the workplace and all this, but I'm telling you, if you stick to something, you'll make it happen. Yeah.
You better tell it. Yes. Again, another pill of wisdom. We got to stick to it. Yeah. And with that, I really want to actually kind of jump to something that, is related. So I'm a little bit out of order on what I wanted to ask you, but I mean, with what you are doing, being a nurse career coach and speaker, really being a trailblazer in the nursing field, what changes do you believe are necessary to continue transforming the nursing profession? And like, how can new upcoming nurses contribute to this evolution? I know you mentioned that you decided that you wanted to be an educator to help with that. And then now also a coach, but what can these new upcoming nurses do to contribute to the changes in the nursing field?
Great question. So, obviously, you're always going to be met with some type of resistance, right? But as the quote says, like, persistence beats resistance, right? So the biggest thing that I say is that you may be in an area or a space where maybe you're trying to speak up, you're trying to advocate, you're trying to create change, but it's not really working. This happens a lot in some organizations that need a culture change, or maybe the leadership is toxic or the workplace is toxic. So this is why quickly I'll drop another pearl for you. It's very important when you get out of nursing school to be very selective about your first job, because it is going to be the foundation of your career. So be selective. Don't just run and get any job. Get a position that you're going to be supported in your transition to practice, because nursing school prepares you, but it's a whole nother level when you're out there in the real world. It's like a slap in the face. Like you get hit with some stuff. So you want to make sure that you're in an organization that's supportive. So let's say, what are some things you can do? You can definitely get multiple mentors. I talk about that all the time. You can get yourself a coach, right? You could get yourself a coach like Fallon here, right? Who's doing amazing things and helping you in this pre-nursing process. You could also, get a coach like me, right? If you don't know how to navigate, you don't know how to interview to get into these schools, you don't know how to interview to get these jobs, get some help, get some other nurses who've been there who can help you save time and help you eliminate some of these mistakes. And then which is you're going to have to make an investment in yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Because to me, that's the only way to grow, is to make an investment. And, because it's okay, you could go buy that nice purse or go buy those nice shoes or whatever. But guess what? If you take that and put it back into your own personal development, that's going to, make you grow and advance a lot faster. The other thing is joining professional organizations. Maybe if you don't have the money to join, save up, because they have student discounts, right? Yes. And if you're part of the state's organizations, like there's for example, in New York City, I spoke there a couple of times. It's called NSANI's, like the New York State Nursing Student Association. You can actually get discounts in specialty organizations. So let's say you want to be an ICU nurse, you might get a discount for the AACN or something. Okay. So look into that. And then obviously your school is going to have a lot of resources for you. So take advantage of that. And then networking. You could go to different conferences. There's national conferences for nursing students, local things, and then start volunteering. Volunteering is going to be the gateway to a lot of your connections and even just early on learning. Like maybe you don't want to get a job in the hospital, which I do highly recommend. You could be a PCT, CNA, patient transporter. So you get your foot in the door. So you start building your experience, your resume, because you're talking to patients all day and you're talking to the healthcare team. You're listening to medical terminology. So it's not going to be foreign to you when you get to nursing school. Huge, huge, huge for you if you're trying to get into nursing school and you have that on your resume. And then on top of that, if you're volunteering, they're going to say, wow, this person is like volunteering their time, and you volunteer in a place that you want to be. So let's say you want to be in critical care, like try to volunteer there and then make those connections and network. So really, again, to change the game, I would say speak up, network, and be a part of movements, right? Like, don't do it yourself. Try to join an organization or a movement that's trying to do something. You don't, there's power in numbers, so you don't have to be alone.
Wow. Woo! Child, she coming out the gate, y'all. Just, I mean, on fire. I mean, this ain't no little fire. I mean, she's starting big blazes. That's why we call her trailblazer, y'all. Trailblazer.
Yes, I love my nursing students. I got to give it to them all. I got to give all the students.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, because you are speaking that language, because all of the things that you talk about are definitely things that I lay out for students in their personalized like education career plans that I make for them, the pre-nursing students that I work with. Like, hey, what all of these, what things can we do to make sure that you not only are getting experience and exposure, but what's going to make you stand out as an applicant and have your own individualized plan and everything. So I just love, love, love everything you mentioned. And yes, y'all, I just have to say, because once I got into nursing, I was one of those folks who got into a whole bunch of organizations, and yeah, these fees add up. By the time you in this organization and that organization and this organization, those fees can add up. So that pill of wisdom that she dropped about the student discount, not only is that helpful for you as a nursing student, but a lot of organizations will extend it for you for your first year as a graduate. So you get that new grad discount too, either way, because there's just, once you actually step out into this world, y'all, I mean, I know right now some of y'all are taking your prereqs and you might be in nursing school and you got your head down and you're really trying to focus. But I'm telling you, once you get out into this field of nursing, and you really get to see like, oh my God, they got nurses for this and nurses for that. They have nursing organizations for everything. And next thing you know, you'll be trying to sign up for everything. But your pocket is going to be like, wait a minute now. We can't afford all of this. Although a little pill that I will drop is I actually have a separate bank account just for my nursing organizations, my licenses, and all of that type of stuff. And that money, just a little bit of money comes out every paycheck. So by the time it's time to pay for a conference, renew that nursing license, BLS, all that stuff is there. I don't have to worry about moving around, no bills, none of that stuff. Because even as an MP, look, hey, you still got bills, okay? I'm telling you.
Yeah, like financial management. We don't really talk about that in nursing.
Yeah, not at all.
Like financial management, and also even financial literacy, like understanding all that type of stuff is very important.
Yes.
And even how to even fill out your FAFSA if you want to do FAFSA, because I had to take out loans when I first went out to school. And please take advantage of scholarships and grants. There's even grants and scholarships that will pay for you to go to conferences and things like that. So definitely look into those things as well. Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, y'all, this is so good. This is so good. But we got to take a baby quick commercial break, and we will be right back. Don't go nowhere. Hey, future nurses. Whether you're headed back to school or returning as an adult student, preparing for the ATITs or HESI exams can be overwhelming. Staying organized is key. That's why we created the Nursing Entrance Exam Practice Calendar, your personalized roadmap to success. With options for 30, 60, 90, or 120-day plans, our calendar fits your schedule. Daily practice questions, full-length tests, structure reviews ensure you're ready no matter where you are in the journey. Back to school or starting fresh, get the tools you need to succeed with our Nursing Exam Practice Calendar. Start your journey today. Download now and take the first step towards your nursing career. All right, so we are back. Man, y'all, she dropped so much stuff. Rewind it, take your notes, put it on the half speed or whatever. If you're listening on YouTube, all that, whatever you got to do, okay? Because this was a lot. All right, so with you actually mentioning Dr. Farah Laurent, should I call you Dr. Farah, Dr. Laurent? What you want me to call you?
Just call me Farah. We friends. We're good.
All right. Just want to make sure, because I'm just rolling here. So, so Farah.
Yeah.
You mentioned some things about networking already, with your, just with that whole piece when you were doing that clinical rotation when you were in nursing school as a student.
Yep.
Applying for jobs as a student, y'all heard that. That was networking. She mentioned some of these student organizations and what you can do for that. So Farah, with networking being such a crucial career development piece,
Yes.
what are some effective like networking strategy that you would like recommend for like nurses that are just starting out specifically, but even like the nursing students and pre-nursing students too?
Sure. I love this because I wish that I had this information when I was a nursing student, because I didn't really attend a lot of like functions, conferences as a nursing student. And even early on in my career, I was just so focused really on the emergency department and not really, networking and doing all the things. But now this is why you got to understand that it's important in your professional development and career advancement and growth. You don't like, I can't tell you enough. Networking will get you further in your career than anything else. It's truly what it is. It's the truth. Like, I used to think, I don't want to like suck up to people. I'm not kissing any, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna just do things on my own, da, 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 da. But you gotta change that mindset and perspective. It's not all transactional, like what they could do for you, right? You have to approach it too with like you're building relationships. You have to position yourself, in places where you meet people and you guys could kind of benefit from each other, even if it's other nursing students that you're meeting with, or other experienced nurses. They can give you things. Even if you're just jumping on a call, you can literally. So one tip I'll give is LinkedIn. You need to set up a LinkedIn account and start building your professional network on LinkedIn. It's the most important thing for you as a pre-nursing student, nursing student, and new grad. LinkedIn is the place to be. This is where I hang out. It's my playground. There are recruiters, hiring managers, directors, other nurses, everything you need. There's over like 1 billion users. So you need to create a LinkedIn account, put a profile photo of yourself. You could just take a selfie and smile. Okay. Huge. And start building up that network online and in person. So different things you can do. So like I was talking to one of my clients recently, and she was in the Florida area, and she said, I think she called it was a hospital called like Joe DiMaggio or something in Florida. I think it's like in South, a pediatric hospital. And she said, I want to get in there and stuff like that. But, they don't have applications open right now. So I said, she said, they have all these events all the time, like for kids, like Halloween, Christmas, da, da, da. I said, so you know what you need to do? You need to call them up and say, hey, do you need volunteers for your next event? And then go volunteer there. Because guess what? You're probably going to meet HR people. You're probably going to meet some of the hiring managers, so you'll be a familiar face. So that's how you start kind of networking. So even though you think, I don't have money to go to this big conference or whatever, do things locally that are just free and be of service, so that when it's time for you to ask to be like, hey, can I jump on the phone with you for 10 minutes? They're like, yeah, I know so-and-so. She's always volunteering here. Sure. He's always volunteering here. Sure, let's get on the call for 15 minutes and I'll talk to you about whatever it is you want to know.
That is so good. Blazer, we know who started those fires now. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
That is so good. I really hope y'all are taking notes. Share this, tag people, whatever you got to do. Share this episode. This is so good, y'all. I mean, and this also goes back to also the part of investing in yourself and having a coach, really important, because, that person by herself, otherwise, how long would she have been looking on LinkedIn and saying, I see they're having these events, but they're not hiring.
Yep.
And then applied to some other hospital and took some position that she really didn't want, and all of these things, when all it took was, not only this investment for, Farah here to be her coach, but also, that networking piece, that being of service. That's so good because, yeah, some of those nursing conferences, yeah, they can be expensive. Now, they do discount some of those conferences for, members, for instance, and things like that. But that's not always the case. So it's like, yeah, so what else can you do to be exposed to people? Because, as the saying always goes, your net worth is your network. And you really need to be able to do that. And as my coach says, you got to work the net,
Wait, I got one more thing. Guess what? You could be a volunteer at a conference.
Absolutely.
You could call up the organizers or whatever and say, hey, listen, I'm really interested in this conference. Do you need help? I'm sure they'll need help somewhere. Or if not, they'll direct you to the people that could, help you out. So
Absolutely.
make
it happen. Because while I was in NP school, the nurse practitioners in women's health, NPWH, were actually looking for student ambassadors. And I was selected as one of 10 in the country at that time to do that. And I got flown out to Salt Lake City, yes, and Utah, and I got to stay in this beautiful hotel. Oh my God. And the food was amazing. Really, what we all had to do was, post from different sessions that we were in on social media. That was what was really exposing me more about what could I do on social media to be able to do more. That was one of the things besides being behind the scenes more. But that opportunity, I was able to attend that conference, for free.
Yes.
Like, no, everything.
One more thing. The other thing I want to tell you too, that just came to mind. Oh my God, it just slipped out of my, you were just saying something about Utah and volunteering. It'll come back to me.
I said work the net. And then I started talking about how I got selected as a student ambassador.
Oh, yes. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Be on committees early on. So even as pre-nursing or nursing students, especially nursing students, you see like the national student associations that we were talking about. There's the national and then the state. These students, like if you get elected into some of these things, you're going to places, you're meeting like these leaders, like the president of the NSNA, which is the National Student Association. I can never remember the whole thing, but they got to speak at an event at the American Nurses Association, and they got to meet the president of the American Nurses Association, right?
See?
So you can get into even these bigger rooms with these huge nursing leaders, right?
Yes.
So just look out for events, and see what's going on. Even things like the American, like I used to work for Canadian Blood Services in Canada, the Red Cross, or where you get your ACLS and all that. The
American Heart Association.
Yes, American Heart.
Yeah.
You can volunteer for them, go to their stuff. There's so many different healthcare workers and things that you could meet.
Yes. Dropping all the pills out that bottle. Lord, I'm gonna have to get a whole new script pad because you done made them lose the bottle. Lord, have mercy. This is good, y'all. Seriously. I mean, the whole committee piece, all of that. Yeah, because I was actually a part of the National Student Nurses Association, NSNA. And I was in a chapter at my first nursing school, but since the program closed down, we had to transition to a new school, had to charter a new chapter.
Exactly, right there.
And all of that. But I was starting then, but that was a good experience to be the vice president of my local chapter.
And you put that on your resume.
I certainly did, and LinkedIn and all of that. And then turned out last year, I was invited to the Illinois Student Nurses Association chapter to be the keynote speaker. Look at God.
You see?
Look how it just all comes back. And it happened to be at my alumni where I got my master's at Loyola. It was all full circle. It was like it was meant to be like,
you see what I'm saying?
telling you.
Right. And
get
then
involved.
that committee work, not only are you learning things, learning new skills like communication skills, collaboration, leadership skills, you
Yes.
put all that on your resume.
Absolutely right. And I was dealing with bylaws as a student. Oh, what is this? We have to write this up.
Yeah.
But to charter the new chapter, we had to. So hey, and it went from there. It just went from there. Oh my goodness, y'all. Okay. So with networking hand in hand, so this is meeting a whole bunch of different people here and there, but when we kind of look more and kind of tone it down to more individualized and looking more at like mentorship and the importance of mentorship. You mentioned you'd like to mention having multiple mentors. So Farah, like, can you tell us, like, discuss how mentorship has shaped your career and what nurses should look for in a nurse mentor?
Great question. So I'm a big advocate for mentorship. So, number one, I wish I had more mentors. I'm actually looking for more mentors right now. And mentors can mean different things to different people, and there's different definitions, right? But there are formal mentorship programs, such as like the American Nurses Association has an actual formal mentorship program. If you're part of that, you can sign up as a member. So you can ask to be a mentee or a mentor, or you could do both, right? So those are more formal and structured. And then I'm also a mentor for the Canadian Black Nurses Alliance.
Nice.
Where shout out to Ovi. She created this space for Canada because it's almost like the National Black Nurses Association kind of thing in Canada. So I'm a mentor for them as well. But my other big thing about mentorship, you can be a mentor even if you're a nursing student to other nursing students. So you can have peer mentors, colleagues who are mentors. So one big mentor for me was my preceptor when I came out of nursing school and I went into the emergency department. Shout out to Dale. He was the male nurse. I don't remember his last name, but he was in Canada. But he really took me under his wing. And even when I got off preceptorship, he really still guided me in the ER and almost like in a protection type way, like made sure they didn't like give me an assignment that was unfair kind of as a new nurse, things like that. So whoever your preceptor is or whoever you're connected with when you're in these clinical preceptorship programs or as a new grad, try to keep those relationships going because they could still extend beyond when, the preceptorship ends. And then the other big mentor that I had was Dr. Oh my God, I can't even think of her name now. I need more coffee.
Nurses and coffee.
She has two doctorates. Oh my God, what is her name? Okay, it's gonna come to me. She was a nursing professional development director and senior director at NYU.
Wow.
She had 2 doctorates, a trailblazer as an educator. She started out in Brooklyn. I used to live in Brooklyn too. Shout out to New York. But she took me under her wing and I actually got hired. My first education job was because of her and another senior director that kind of saw the potential in me. And I had my master's in education. It took me 2 years to get an educator job. 2 years. Because in the ER, they were not hiring me. I kept applying. That's another story, right? Like unfair hiring practices, people that shouldn't be, people are unqualified getting the jobs. Sometimes you could be the most qualified, but you're not getting the job,
Yeah,
but it's okay. Be persistent. So she really, showed me the ropes of education, how to be an educator. And I still keep in touch with her till this day. I think she saw me on like Jennifer Hudson and like she sent me a message. Super nice. So like you have to she was to give you the traits, super humble. Like look for somebody who's humble, who's down to earth, who's patient, who has great communication skills. and that's somebody that you connect with.
Yes.
Right? Like, because a lot of times I tell students, when you come out of school and they pair you up with somebody, give it time to see if you have a connection. And like, but if you really feel like you're not clicking at all, it's awkward, try to see if you can speak to the educator or the hiring manager. They'll try to come up with some clever excuse to be like, oh, your shift doesn't work, let me put you with someone else. Because your experience, like, you have to connect with the person, because
yes,
if you're able to ask them questions, you don't feel comfortable, you know, and representation really matters. You know, she was of Jamaican descent, right? African American, and it's not easy to come up in these roles, right? Like, and she was at a high leadership position for a long time. So I really admired her, how she was humble and really down to earth, and super cool and like a fun person. So yes. Oh, Dr. Althea Mighton, that's who it is. So shout out.
All right. All right, Dr. Althea. We know her name now, y'all. So tag her. Tag her. Because we talking.
And then another big instructor. I had one really cool instructor. Her name was Patty DeRoche in Canada. She made nursing fun. She was the only instructor that made it fun. And I aspired to be like her when I was an instructor. She used to be like, come on, guys, let's whip in that Foley. Like, she of course, she was an ER nurse. I think her background was critical care ER.
Okay.
Super cool, and like sense of humor is big for me.
Yeah. I mean, it really helps. I mean, because, you know, oh, Lord have mercy. Just the tension of nursing school already trying to get through that thing. But if you go higher, get your master's, get your doctorate or PhD, you know, all of these things already in itself is just so much pressure, you know, because your family, you might be the only you know, person that's, you know, that's getting that high of a degree in your family, whatever, all these certifications, all that thing, plus the stuff that we see and deal with in nursing. You got to be able to laugh sometimes. Lord have mercy. Sometimes you got to laugh to keep them crying.
And I want to shout out, like, you know, something that I want to say to nurses is, don't be afraid to brag about yourself. Brag about yourself. Bring out your brag portfolio. This is something that you guys should do. Start building a portfolio, a brag portfolio. Get recommendation letters. If a family member or a patient writes you like a nice letter saying that you took care of them, collect all those things and put it somewhere so that when you go to your, you know, first job, you can have that. But I wanted to, you know, I always self-promote, and I'm like, I'm a first-gen immigrant, and I'm very proud of that, because I know there's a lot of nursing students out there who are first-gen immigrant or whatever, you know, kids of immigrants and things like that, right? And it's not easy, right? Like, I recently got an email from a past student that the rule was if you failed out of like 2 classes, you were kicked out of the program. It's the LPN program. And I was the director of the LPN program at the time. And our NCLEX scores, we were trying to get them back up. I had just got the role and everything. She came to me like, you know, in tears, and was like, please give me another chance. Like, I know I can really do this. So we talked, we came up with like a strategic plan, an action plan with the professors and everything. And all the professors were looking at me like we voted on it, and, you know, but they're like, cause she wrote an appeal letter, and they're like, I don't know if she should come back. And, you know, English was her second language. Same thing with me. French was my first language. So I had to take ESL classes in grade school. So I totally, you know, connected with that. And I could see that she was struggling at home, you know, home life. So I was like, you know what? Yes, you can come back to the program. Literally, I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago, she emailed me and she's like, I promised you that I was going to pass my NCLEX on my first try. She's like, I finished the program and I passed my NCLEX. And she's like, I know you're no longer at the school, but I found your email and I wanted to let you know. And she said, you know, she's so grateful that I let her do that, because nursing is life-changing for people.
My God, yeah.
It's like you worry about, like, some of these students are sending money back home to whatever country, like their families are in, or like, they're taking
Mm-hmm.
care of their siblings, or,
Mm-hmm.
it's rough,
Wow.
so just know that you're not the only one that has a hard road, but you can get there, and nursing will transform your life, like literally financially. It'll give you so many things. So, I'm so grateful to the profession, even though, yes, sometimes, there are some real hard truths, but
Mm.
to me, it's honestly the best profession, and it's changed my life, like, in every way.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
That's so powerful, and I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah. Those success stories, right? That like
Man,
people
that
give
is
up. Like
successful.
they give up on nursing students. And it's like sometimes like, oh, well, they didn't hand in this assignment and da, da, da. I'm like, but do you know what these students are going through? Like, did you
Yes,
ask? Did you talk to them? You
yes,
know? Yeah.
and
So
that goes
back to
back.
professors, yeah.
Yes, representation matters too because,
Hmm.
as you said, you understood. You spoke un autre langage, and et parle français.
Yee.
And so, being able to understand that because, um, a lot of the nursing profession already is still working on its diversity, and then even further in nursing education, and especially the admin part of education. And
Yeah, academia.
with that, if you have not walked, if those instructors have not walked through those shoes, they don't necessarily know what to look for, what to ask. It's when we're looking at nursing retention, I'm gonna try to stay off of a top soapbox, but you
Yeah.
can't be talking about recruitment and retention and diversity and all of this stuff, but you're not asking the right questions, and seeing what these students' needs are. Sometimes you have to look outside the box of the things that you've been offering in your program, and you have to say,
Yeah.
why are these types of students, for instance, constantly having a struggle, or they're not passing a class, or why they're not making it through the program, or even not passing the NCLEX, any of those things.
Shout out to I'm not gonna say his name, but shout out to this one student, LPN. He was the most chill attitude. He used to work night shift as like a CNA PCT. And I
Okay.
was like, listen, you can't be working out. He's like, listen, he's like, I gotta pay the bills. He's like, what do you want me to do? He would go work night shift and try to come in the morning for lecture. Right.
Wow.
Some of these people would have to go drop their kids off, because I know I have young kids, drop them at daycare, drop them at school, and then try to come to class. Some of them would leave.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them would live in New York City, and have to drive to New Jersey. Sometimes it'd be like an hour or two drive or whatever, just to come to class. And then you would get these professors. If you're a professor listening to this, please listen, okay? You get these professors that, oh, if a student comes 10 minutes late, I'm closing my door. Please, okay, stop. These students are paying money to be educated. I don't care if they're 15 minutes late or 20 minutes late. They need to come into the door. You don't know what they're going through,
Exactly.
and it is not your job to be judging these students. They're paying the money. So what if they get half the class? At least they get half the class,
They getting
right?
something.
So I'm a big advocate for that. Like, let's loosen up these rigid like narratives in nursing school. Like, oh, you don't have I had professors, oh, they don't have their lab coat. They gotta go back home and get their lab coat. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no, you staying right here. Like,
Hmm.
it's not that big of a deal. Like,
Boy,
let's
he done turned into Mama Farah.
talk about the HEPA assessment and what you teaching them before you work
Yes.
if they got a lab coat. Yes, I understand, like uniform, you got to be whatever, but come on, like let's cut them some grace,
Right. Yes. Grace is everything. Grace is man, you about to have me up in here preaching again, Lord, because you said, look, when you said, I don't care if they get half the class. And I just thought about even the dog can get a crumb from the master's table. Had me going back in the Bible.
Right? Like,
Man.
what does it bother you? Like, can you let go of some of your control a little bit? Like, relax. Like, relax.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Because
people learn
everything.
differently, right? Like, some
Mm-hmm.
students don't always have to go to class to be successful. Some of them, are self-taught a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
So, just chill out a little bit, some of these professors.
Just chill. and just settle down. Lord.
I love my 90s R&B. You're going to have me say,
Yes.
oh my
Yes. My boy, I'm a little raspy today.
Education has to be fun. Like,
Absolutely.
there's a retention problem, like you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to increase diversity. But if you're a professor, like get off your pedestal. Like, how are you supporting these students? Like, you can say, yes, we have 100% pass rate or whatever, but what's your retention rate? Right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can say, yes, I have all the best students and da. But like, are you kicking them out and only keeping the highest, brightest that have the highest GPA? Like, how are you supporting the ones that are struggling? That's what I want.
Yes, absolutely. Because then that makes me go a little bit to holistic admission review, people. Okay. So if there is a school, and you go into those information sessions, see how they are grading you as a student that's entering that program, because that holistic admission looks at you more than just a test score, and a transcript, basically. Okay.
Right.
So we have to,
faculty. Yeah. Take a look at the faculty and if there's a little diversity going on,
Yes, indeed. Oh my goodness, y'all. Okay. Quick commercial break. And we're gonna finish this thing on now. This is so good. I'm like, I want to keep talking, but I know we gotta go. All right, so we'll be right back. Attention, business owners. Are you ready to tap into the fast-growing market of the nursing community? Partner with us to showcase your products or services to this dedicated audience. Nursing programs, especially at HBCUs, educational programs like CNA, phlebotomy, and CPR, healthcare staffing agencies, and businesses focused on self-care and mental health support. If you're a business focused on providing solutions for the nursing inspired, our platform provides a unique opportunity to especially connect with future nurses eager to invest in their education and career. You could be next for a sponsorship advertising opportunity on the Listen Up Future Nurse podcast. Contact us at info@nursinginspired.com to learn more about advertising opportunities today. All right, all y'all business owners out there listening, get your commercial on out here, okay? It don't matter if you're a nurse business owner or otherwise. Give me a call, all right? Now, Dr. Farah Laurent, Miss Farah, FF. Twinning them a little bit, the two FF girls, Farah and Fallon. Woo, we have been enjoying ourselves.
Yes.
So, nursing, we have to make sure we are networking and we have mentors and we're passionate, and we're doing the things that we need to do to stand out. But what about, outside of all of this outward stuff to stand out in a personal development, what about the inward stuff? So what about self-care is what I want to lastly ask you about. So how do you define self-care in the nursing profession, and what strategies would you recommend for new nurses to prioritize well-being while also advocating for their patients?
Great question. And, I'm going to give you kind of like an untraditional type answer, unconventional. Like self-care, really, like you mentioned, is your own definition of what self-care is. So for me, it changes from time to time from whatever it is that I need in that moment or that season, right? So like with two kids, sometimes I just need some time to myself, like, walking outside by myself or whatever it is. I like to journal. Sometimes I don't get a lot of opportunities to journal, but journaling actually is a great way to relieve stress, to write down a lot of things that you're going through, to gain clarity. And I actually have a journal that I created on Amazon. It's called the 90-Day Gratitude Journal. If you just type in Dr. Farah Laurent, look it up on Amazon. I'm a self-promote. You can find it there. So what it is it has like a little section where you could manifest, or you could put what you're grateful for, all that stuff. And it only takes like literally 5-10 minutes a day, and you could do that. And there's actually research behind that. So to give you quick context, I got my doctoral program. I did my doctoral program at Monmouth University in New Jersey, and my program focused on stress reduction strategies for nurses, and actually created a toolkit for nurses on stress reduction strategies. And that was in there. Gratitude journaling is something that helps nurses. Nice. Other things that were in that research was like pet therapy. You know, some people like dogs, things like that. Even for patients, it can be good. What else was in there? Obviously, exercise and eating well and sleep, right? It's very difficult to do those things. For me, I don't work out regularly. I'll just admit it, and I probably should, but you know, life happens. But for me, even just taking walks, you know, important. I recently got a bike because we moved to Florida, so now we're going to have more outdoor life. But really, nature and research shows that the more you're outside, the more you feel better, right? Even just vitamin D from the sun. Like, yes. And if you're a nursing student and maybe you're like in the hospitals doing clinicals, or even as a nurse, get outside, because a lot of times, like I used to go on break in the break room, and the break room was just filled with like sometimes good stuff, sometimes too much negativity. I'm like, I don't want to hear this. So I used to take my lunch outside, sit out on the picnic table, eat my lunch out there, or take walks during my breaks. And I think that is huge for mental health. People, I think, are afraid of solitude and like being by themselves, but I think it's really needed because we have so many distractions. Yes. Our phones, the TV, we're running, doing this, doing that. So having that solitude and being by yourself, for me, is the best self-care. And then obviously sleep. I just got my nails done today. That's another self-care. Massages, things like that, and traveling. I love to be by the beach. But, you know, to me, you have to just figure out what works for you. And then sometimes scheduling it helps. Yes. So shout out to Kirby Williams. She's a psych NP, and she also has her own business helping other NPs and stuff. But she talked about scheduling self-care. And sometimes she put like little, like something in a jar, like different self-care activities, which I really like that idea. And then she picked like, every day you could pick from it or like do stuff like that. So those are a couple things. And then honestly, I think the biggest, praying was another one that I included in my research. Praying helps with stress reduction, and also music. How could I forget music? I love music, but there's research that shows physiologically, if you listen to 30 minutes of music, I think it's a week, your blood pressure, all that will decrease. So like, think about when you put on your favorite song or something, like, right? You're like in better mood and things like that. So, and really gratitude and having a positive mindset and having perspective is really important, because, you know, I've been hearing this a lot. Like people say, you know, switch your thinking with, instead of saying like, oh, I have to do this, like say, I get to, right? I get to go. Yes. I have like all that gratitude type stuff really does help. So yeah, that's my God thing about self-care. And surround yourself with positive people, because people will drain the energy out of you. Okay.
Right. Like, hey, get your own charger.
Don't give them the front seat. You know, sometimes they gotta be like out in the stands or in the back somewhere. Or outside the stadium. You know, you can't
somewhere. I'm gonna like that old school. I forgot which one of them. And when he say turn him off, or he talking about turn the lights off, turn that phone off. Right. Turn them off. Turn that phone off, baby. Turn that TV off. Turn the tablet, laptop, whatever, and get you some sleep. Ooh, honestly, I'm gonna give me some good sleep tonight.
I think if anything, sleep is. I would be number one. Would be sleep. Because you know, nurses don't really sleep. Nursing students don't sleep. You're always studying. You're like, yeah, let me get another hour. You know, before the test. I'm like, if you don't know it the night before, you're not gonna know it. So stop.
Yeah. Right. Save yourself. Right. Save yourself. Lord have mercy. Yes. Yeah, and you're right. Yeah, mindset is definitely a part of everything, for sure. And yeah, having positive people and gratitude. Shout out to my coach, Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris. Whoop whoop. Um, because you, as you mentioned, talking about the I have to versus I get to mindset, and he get on me real quick on one of them calls. What you say?
Right. And honestly, manifesting really works.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, positive self-talk. That's the other thing, because I have to work on it a lot of times. But you really have to just be positive about it and speak it into existence. Like, this is what I do with my nurse career coaching. Mindset and confidence are two things I always have to like help nurses with. They're like, well, yeah, they're like, the market's competitive. I don't think I'm going to get a job. I'm like, who told you? Like, they just putting all these self-limiting beliefs. And I'm like, no. I'm like, you didn't even like get to the test. You're already like counting yourself out, right?
God, yeah.
Just like
That's like the they said. I hate that. Well, who is they? Who is they?
Right. That's that positivity. Like, really, I always say, where there's a will, there's a way, and just be positive, and you'll get to where you want to be. That's it. And everything is figure outable. That's my quote. Nobody's dying. Everything's figure outable. That's it.
Right. But did you die? Did you die? No, you didn't.
Especially like my husband. Oh my God. He's always like, why are you always like, nothing bothers you? You're always so relaxed. And you're like opposites. And I'm like, my ER background, I was like, it's really not that serious. And then for him, he like freaks out about everything.
Yes. Which is the funny thing. I was just thinking about that earlier today, because I'm gonna spoke to some students earlier today, but talking about having nurse colleagues, no matter if it's like from school, like your fellow students, or if it's nurses or whatever, our mindset when it comes to how serious stuff is, because we see life and death, and because we see the critical and all of the things, it's like, did you die?
It's not that serious. It's not
that serious.
Let's triage it out. Let's give it a cutie 1 to 5. What's going on?
Exactly. Oh my God. Yes. But like, that's not high acuity. What?
And same thing as a nursing student, right? Like, prioritize your stuff. You'll be good.
Yes.
Be good.
Prioritization and delegation, people. That's it. Hey, you heard over there, Dr. Farah. She dropping it now. Yes. Oh my God. Ooh wee. So I have been over here asking you all of this stuff. It is your turn. We are here to flip the microphone. So you have to tell me now, as we end this thing on out, after this incredible conversation today, what question do you have for me?
Okay. For you, it's going to just be a fun question.
Okay.
I would say, what is your top bucket list item? Like, what do you want to do? This outside of nursing, whatever. Like, what do you dream of doing? What's your thing?
I still have it on my bucket list. I just want to go to France. I just want to go to France.
Oh, you want to go to France? Okay.
Yes, I do. Being working as a full nurse, full-time nurse practitioner and business owner, I'm running, and scheduling that self-care in between that time. But international travel, we can't make quick moves like that as fast as we can for something that's more local. And then the other thing is, of course, as a nurse practitioner, I have to give 90 days notice, just to go somewhere to do something.
Right.
So it takes a lot of planning, which right now my mind can't break into that. But j'adore la France, and I haven't even been there. I took French in high school, and it was my minor in college, and then after a while I stopped knowing people who spoke French, and then of course I've been binging Emily in Paris. For any of those folks have been binging that on Netflix.
Well, you can definitely
I gotta go there.
Call me up anytime. We can speak French. And yes, I've been a couple times. I got to go to Paris a few times. My aunt actually lives just outside of Paris. And then I got to go to a couple other places, like Lyon is like a little bit in the middle.
Yes.
And then I heard they got like a hurricane that hit them too, which is weird. And then I got to go to, cool story. My mom was born in France.
Wow.
Yeah, not too far from like Lyon, a little bit to the right of it. And we got to take a trip to the house where she grew up in, and we took a photo in front of it, which was really cool. But yeah, I think you'll love it. The food, the bread, the butter, all that stuff.
Oui. Yes. Yes. I mean, okay, people who know me outside. Oh my God. First, I mean, I love food. Okay. I may be trendy, but people otherwise know me as Foodie Fallon. So I love to eat. Okay, feed me.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So I definitely gotta go there for the food. Love the fashion. Y'all see? I'm a fashion girl. Love me some fashion. Gotta get there. Oh my God. And then it's French. I mean, it's all the F's. It's all the things. That's the only F we want. We don't want F's on the transcript, but
do a vision board, and then like you have your little bank account for your BLS and all that.
Yep.
Make a France bank account.
That's true.
A little piggy bank for France.
Yeah.
A GoFundMe to France.
Right. Send Fallon to France, y'all.
I love it. I love it. That would be awesome. Oh my goodness.
Lord have mercy. Oh my gosh. Well, this has been an amazing conversation. Had a ball today, just absolute ball. Do you have any announcements that you want to make? Any products that you want to mention? Final, anything, events coming up that you have, or we can share with everybody?
Yeah, so definitely, I would say check me out on LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Dr. Farah Laurent. You can connect with me there. You can check me out on Jennifer Hudson. You can check out that episode if you want. I also have, for those nurses who in the future are maybe aspiring business owners, you want to start a side hustle, even as a nursing student, I say go for it. One quick side hustle that you could start and make money on the side would be tutoring. Like, let's say that you're really good at tutoring, and you could start and charge. So nurses making money moves, a nurse's guide to starting a business. You can find it on my website, nursefair.com. And then if you're interested, if you're listening and interested in a speaker at a university, keynotes at conferences, anything like that, definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. Or if you're a new nurse that's trying to get into the nursing profession, not sure how to interview and not sure how to level up and get your dream job, contact me. And what else? The Nursing Dose. Follow me. My podcast is called The Nursing Dose with Farah. You could follow me on YouTube or Spotify. And hopefully I'll get it on more channels with that thing that you told me about recently. But yeah, definitely, you could just Google me. You'll find me. I'm over there on Google. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I had so much fun. And my last message is just go for it, make it happen, start, and just dream big. That's it.
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. This was it. Fire. Thank you so much, Dr. Farah Laurent. I appreciate you. We're going to see y'all the next time. Tune in, share this episode. All right. This is it.